Well, hey, happy Wednesday. It's 10:30. You know what that means. It's time for Tony, Jake, Jen, myself, and Clay, and for Danny for a round of BS.
BS.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot your official name. Clay Bird.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Clay Bird.
What's up, man?
Clay Bird.
My look here, my look here, my look here.
Danny's not feeling well today. Hopefully he gets past whatever. He said he had razor blades in his throat. Yeah. I'm hoping that was just like a metaphor, not literal. So it's probably not safe.
He seemed fine to me yesterday.
Yeah, he was showing me some pictures of his mullet. He used to rock a mullet back in the day.
He did.
A curly mullet.
Yes. He had amazing locks.
I don't know why that's not his. He had a picture of him and Travis Tritt. I was like, why is this not your Facebook profile picture right now?
That's
both have mullets. I was like,
that's
dude.
double TROUBL.
Actually, he's got a lot of pictures over the years with him with some incredible people. Like, he should do something with that.
That's why he's a future Hall of Famer,
There's
man.
some pretty amazing
Danny
photos.
can't figure out how to get him into the computer as the He's got him unprinted out.
He'll hire someone for that.
So if you're new to this and you're wondering what we're doing on your Facebook feed or on this podcast, what we do is we get together once a week and we all bring a topic, something from our lives, something from pop culture, and we throw it on the table and go around the room and take your comments as well. I want to talk about Tony's dance moves to Lil Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus.
Well,
we'll dive into that song in a minute, too. But first, a couple housekeeping notes. Number one, in case you're wondering who won our Bull Bracket Bonanza, we did that bracket contest in March. You know, there's other brackets, but this one was all about country stars. It came down to Jason Aldean and Garth. Any guesses who won?
Jason.
Garth.
Well, people would vote for Garth no matter what he does, but I like Jason.
It was Garth.
Yeah. Of course it was Garth.
Garth won. So congratulations, Garth. As if you needed another award, you got one
Garth
from Bull Nation.
Jason Aldean?
Yeah, we did a bracket, and one side was like more of the legacy artists who've been around for a while, and one was more of the rising stars, and it came down to Aldean and Garth.
All right.
Clay Bird being an Oklahoman, you got to weigh in on Garth.
Oh, what about Garth?
He's from Oklahoma.
He's the greatest ever.
Well, yeah. Compared to who? So I'm team George.
Ooh.
Yes!
Yeah.
You're like from Oklahoma.
Yeah, I am.
The funny thing is Garth would agree with you.
Well, of course.
You love his humility.
But usually Oklahomans aren't that praising of Texans, but George Strait is a little different.
I mean, we praise
the
George.
king.
We all praise
Yeah.
George, of course. Yeah.
Well,
Clay, what's the joke about 35? What's the best thing to ever come out of Oklahoma?
I feel like I have heard that, but I don't know. Best thing to ever come out of Oklahoma?
That's what Texans say. There's a road
I-35.
I-35 runs out of Oklahoma down into Texas, and they say the best thing to come out of Oklahoma is I-35.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Another housekeeping note for big fans of the Bull who've been around for years. Remember Chunky?
Yes.
You'll be happy to know he had a little baby girl this week.
Adorable.
Sunday, which is the day before my birthday, so missed it by that much.
Oh, yeah.
I told him because I don't think the baby was due for another week or so it came a little early.
Oh, really?
He was saying that it wasn't going to be mine; it was going to be after my birthday. So I was like, I almost got it. But congrats, Chunky and Drum are both doing well. So I just want to say hey and give them a shout out.
Bonkers level labor, like it was.
Yeah.
Over a day's worth of labor.
Like
29
hours.
29 hours worth of labor.
Isn't that crazy?
That's a lot of pain.
No thanks.
What you get when you knock up somebody that little. Like, it takes a while.
It was funny watching him on social. Watching him on social media. He's like, "I'm about to drive home, slowest I've ever driven in my life." I was like, "Yep, welcome to fatherhood,
Yeah,
buddy."
for reals.
But I'm happy for him. I know that's a life-changing moment.
He'll be a good dad.
Yeah, I think he'll be a great dad. And boy, he thought his Amazon Prime queue was big before. I'm sure he's got it loaded up with baby stuff.
I lived on Amazon Prime for the first 12 weeks.
Sure.
Lived.
But we're happy for them, so we just wanted to acknowledge that. Also, happy birthday to Maren Morris. It's her birthday today, too.
Oh,
yeah.
happy birthday, Maren.
All right, housekeeping out of the way. Who wants to throw their topic on the table first today?
Jen's first.
Ladies first. Jen, what do you got?
So, anything different about me?
You dyed your eyebrows.
Your eyes are crazy.
Oh, no, that's Tony.
My big eyes got bigger.
No, that's impossible. You dyed your hair.
I did. And you'll never guess which two in this room didn't say anything this morning about it.
Danny Dwyer, because he's not here.
Yeah. Was it Danny Dwyer?
Wow, I'm the only one. All three of the other team members didn't say anything.
I even knew she was getting it done and forgot.
I had a group text out yesterday asking, Jake, Tony, Mojo, and Danny if I should go blonder or if I should go darker. And y'all said to shave my hair, so you were zero help.
I'm the only one that said that.
I said go blonde.
Yeah, and then after I pick dark, I get blonde texts like, oh, we like the blonde. Well, too freaking late.
Well, you should have asked us that.
Why are you asking? What does it matter what we think of your hair?
If we all
Because
said purple, would you have done it?
No.
If
Well,
you would have
then-
saw the blonde before you dyed it, would you have went blonde?
Ooh.
Wait, what?
If you would have saw our text saying blonde before, would you have changed your mind?
Maybe, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why
Wow.
influence your
I'm
life that much?
around you four
But
more than anybody else in my life besides my kid and my husband.
yeah, but Jen, like your physical appearance is immaterial to us.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
We're going to love you no matter what.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what
Which
your
way did
hair
hubby
looks
say
like.
go?
I don't
Huh?
know.
Which way did hubby say?
He didn't
Brown
care.
or he didn't care?
No.
No, you know what Spencer asked? He says, how much is it going to cost?
And that is the right answer.
And that's like, okay, blonde, which is cheaper, blonde or brunette? Because
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Brunette
going
is
with.
cheaper, actually.
Yeah.
well, there you go.
But-
Smart move.
I've
But
always found that blondes are always more expensive. But
my point being
different.
that the two people who I spend the most time with, and I see them in the morning before anybody else, they didn't say anything.
You know Tony's policy where he doesn't always vote, like when the time comes around, and you've said this before, Tony doesn't vote because he doesn't feel educated enough on it.
on certain things.
Yeah, on certain things. Like he'll leave
Yeah.
it blank because he doesn't feel smart enough.
Uh-huh.
That's how
That's
I feel.
responsible of you.
Yeah, for you to ask me what you should do your hair, that's too much responsibility. Like I don't want to be deciding what your hair is when it makes no difference to me.
It's out
Okay.
of your realm of expertise.
No, it's not even
So
that. I know what.
Me asking y'all put aside, you knew I was getting my hair done, and yet this morning neither one of you noticed it.
It's not about. Well, we
And it's
noticed
kind
that
of really different looking.
you told us yesterday. If we're gonna get really into this, you sent us the text yesterday. That's when I noticed it when you sent me the
Yes,
text.
and I
Why do
said-
you need more affirmation from me today?
And I think I was the only one that responded that you looked beautiful.
Oh, we all agree you look beautiful, Jen.
I'm the only one that's old enough to say it where it's not creepy.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's why I feel comfortable
Yeah.
now.
If you
'cause
guys
you've
are
already
around
said it.
her age, you don't feel like you're appropriate to tell her she looks beautiful.
So
Oh, I
my
think
point-
it's worse for you.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think you got that twisted.
yeah.
yeah, no, but she knows it's like I feel like it's like her dad saying, "Oh, honey, you look beautiful today." That's why it's okay for me to get away.
My
with it.
point in bringing this up is that if you notice somebody's hair is different, or even like weight loss, like we were on FaceTime with some friends a couple nights ago, and first thing they said right off the bat, Jen, your face looks skinnier. Even if I hadn't have lost weight, which I have, even if I hadn't, that makes you feel like $1,000,000. And you can even say like, oh, well, I haven't, but thanks. Like in whatever. It's like if you notice somebody looks extra good, or like maybe they have lost some weight, saying something to them, even if they haven't, it's not going to be a bad thing.
What if they gain it?
Yeah, Jen, I
Shut
put on
your
10
dang
pounds. You
mouth.
didn't say anything.
I have to say though, I'll never forget.
Guys.
I was standing next to this lady. She was a lovely lady. Guy walks up and says to her, "You've lost weight," and she looks at him and goes, "Did I need to?" Oh, and I was just like, "Ooh, wow."
Now, that's just not taking a compliment.
Yeah,
No.
There's a couple. We need to first off pay some homage to Clay because Clay didn't even get the second foot in the door before he commented on your hair.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Well done.
Yeah.
Walked
Learned
in.
some things.
Oh, I love your hair. Thank you, Clay.
Now, but we also need to add in the fact that this is a workplace and you are a coworker.
Yep.
Yeah.
And comments on your appearance are actually not okay anymore.
That's why I didn't today.
I'm so.
You know how Tony is into that
I'm
movement.
very
Yeah, I
conscientious
thought,
of the
I
rules.
feel like
Saying
I
your
thought Tony
hair-
handled it well when he came in and said, "Hey, good morning, sugar britches," and didn't say anything about your hair. I thought that was
Yeah, like
appropriate.
walking in and being like, "Hey, you darkened your hair. I think it looks good." I feel like that's completely appropriate for the workplace. But like walking in and being like, "Hey, beautiful, like your hair looks good." Like I feel like throwing in like comments like that, but just being like, "Hey, you dyed your hair. Looks good."
It's different, and I would as coworker. No, I agree with how Clay said it.
Sure.
But like as coworkers, the people who you see for the most part more hours a day than anybody else
This
in
is
your
true.
life.
Note to self: not
Like-
allowed to call anyone beautiful in the workplace
It
anymore.
would
Or
be,
sugar britches.
I
I
would
think
steer
it's
clear.
slightly more offensive to women. Like if you don't notice them looking good.
Well, we got to err on the side of, being cautious. You got to be,
Yeah.
This is a workplace.
It's his workplace. Good point.
I even say to the general manager, "You look, you look when she looks pretty." I guess I need to just reel all this back in.
Yeah,
Yeah, are you just now figuring that out?
I'm like, come on. I've been here over 2 years, and we know it's not based on talent. So maybe I need to keep telling her she looks
stop.
pretty.
Remember what we talked about. The rule of thumb is if you would say it to a guy, you could say it to a girl. If you wouldn't, then maybe you should think about it.
But let's be honest. If you hear me, I call guys good looking sometimes. So
this is true. Never to me, but that's not the point. There are some
I don't like
comments
gray hair
people want to
guys.
say about your hair, Jen. Stop it. At least I've got all mine.
Oh boy.
Oh, damn.
Don't start now, won't be none, Tony. Amber says, love your hair, Jen. Donna says, beautiful no matter what. Her words, not mine. I'm just saying.
I'm reporting the facts.
Karen says, darker is the new thing right now. I've been thinking about it myself for 2 weeks. You look stunning, she says.
Thank you.
When Jake and Tony get out of the doghouse, I'm sure they'll tell you the same thing. Yeah, that's all accurate. And Tracy says, how's Patsy Cline?
Patsy,
Off topic, but...
Oh, no, that's interesting. Today is our 2-year anniversary.
Oh, is it?
2 years ago today, I brought Patsy Cline home. Now I'm going to cry.
Congrats.
Because I was getting divorced, and, I always call her my divorce dog. You're
do
just
that.
like, you're lonely,
Yeah.
And so...
You couldn't wait one day for National Pets Day?
Right? I
Yeah,
didn't even
right?
realize that. Isn't that crazy?
That is kind of crazy.
She
Think about
saved
it.
you.
And so the guy, he saw me coming from a mile away. He's like, because I was like, she's so big, she's like 100-something pounds. And I was living in this little apartment in Beaverton, and I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, well, just do this. Why don't you just take her home a couple days, see how it goes?
Mm-hmm.
So I put her
Take your first spin.
big butt in the back of my car, and we're driving home. And as we're driving, we hadn't even gone a mile yet, and all of a sudden I feel this plop on my shoulder, and I look over, and it's her big head, like
Sold.
yeah, and like. Guess who's adopted who here? So, yeah.
That's cool.
Patsy's awesome.
Oh.
One more housekeeping note I forgot to mention as I noticed Scott Mahalik watching. He retired this week, our big leader. So we wanted to give a hat tip and a salute to Scott for all the years he's developed us into the charming personalities that we are today. That's not exactly accurate, but
Well, it is for me.
in Tony's case.
I'm blaming him for everything.
Yeah, likewise. So thank you for everything. Scott, we appreciate you.
Yeah, that man's going to do some big things. Like, you can just help,
Oh, yeah, he is not
he's
done.
already done some big things.
I'm going to make, like, whatever he does next.
He's not retiring, yeah.
Yeah.
He's literally the international man of mystery. Like the Dos Equis guys finds him interesting. It's
Whatever
like
you do
that.
on your home planet that you go back to, Scott, hey, best of luck to you.
And there's that. I tried to get down here for my trip back from Vegas on Monday, which was my birthday, but my plane got delayed, so I didn't make it back in time to bring him a little something that I got for him. But hopefully I will. At
You
some
should have
point.
called him. He would have just had his plane come and get you.
Yeah.
Right? I should have had the private jet come
Or
pick me
as
up.
Jake says, his spaceship.
Yeah, right.
Spaceship. I got no comment on that.
Direct from the CIA.
Anybody else? Anybody else want to throw the topic out next? Jake?
I'll do it.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, we're going to talk about taxes here.
Oh boy, this is going to be fun.
It's not going to be fun.
Yay!
Monday's the day, right?
I can't get into this.
I don't know.
The
Monday,
15th? Yeah.
It's getting coming up. Don't cheat on your taxes. That's my my 2 cents today. Because cheating on your taxes is stealing from me, and I'd appreciate if you didn't do that.
Didn't you write a blog about it on bullmornings.com?
I wrote
today?
an extensive blog,
Mhm.
and if you're not comfortable, me calling you out on stealing from people, then don't read it.
I think the way you preface it and set it up, no one's going to be able to argue with you on it, though.
Fair.
Well, sure, because I'm right on it.
It's like me saying I was speeding on my way to work today, but I was running late, so I had to speed.
Yeah, no.
Police
That-
officers never go for that.
Unless you're like in labor. Then that's it.
Yeah.
But my point specifically is that we've all entered into a contract. You live in Lady America. You enjoy the protections and liberties that she provides. Then you are on the hook to do your part for taxes. If you decide you get a $100 tip doing whatever it is that you do, and you decide I'm not going to claim that, well, you've just taken $30, $30 from a soldier who's serving overseas. Like, it all goes into a big pile that gets paid out to these people who help take care of our country. And we've all agreed to do that. So if you don't do it, I'm sorry, you're stealing. You're stealing from me.
You're
stealing from
you're
you,
also
stealing
giving to
from
an inept government.
Yeah, exactly.
You're also making sure that a government that is blowing our money, not using it correctly,
Yeah.
who's spending, maybe giving billions, trillions of dollars to countries that don't deserve it instead of spending it on a country that does need it.
It's a government that you elected. It's your fault.
Well, you raise great points, and I'm not going to argue that.
Yeah, that's
for
what I
sure.
say. You can't argue with it. But,
Okay,
but I
informal-
always go back to what Billy Ray Russell said.
Okay.
Who's my dad.
Yeah, your pops.
There's only two things on earth that will make a man lie.
Okay.
The IRS and a woman.
It's accurate.
Enjoy stealing from teachers, man. If that's the way you're going to live your life.
Ooh.
I
You're
would
taking
ra-
money out of the classrooms by doing
How
that.
about if I make a donation to the Teachers Foundation?
Okay, and the veterans, firefighters,
And the
police,
fire.
park
Yeah.
rangers, all these people who do the things that we want them to do, you're taking it out of like their budgets.
But a lot of times they don't. A lot of the times they'll have special, what do you call it, bonds for that. Like
True.
to give teachers a raise, they'll do a bonds. And how about this? What happened to all that money that was supposed to come from the gambling? And we're always told, oh, we're going to let's get the lottery into the state because that'll help us pay the teachers. And then the teachers don't get paid.
Sure.
Well, let's allow gambling in the casinos because that'll help with this. And then it doesn't get done.
But
So
this stuff doesn't exist in a vacuum. When you say that, like there's a bond that's supposed to go, or lottery money that's supposed to go to the schools. Well, why are the schools failing? Well, if lottery money goes to the schools, when the budget gets done every year by our legislators that we elected, they subtract out. It's what happens. It happens all the way. None of this stuff is isolated. It's all connected. When you see parks failing, then maybe more money goes to parks. Well, that money has to come from somewhere. It gets taken away from somewhere else. It's all connected. And every penny that you don't claim and you don't give to the government that we elected is stealing from me and you and everybody.
So you think a waitress who's barely making it, barely getting her rent paid, barely paying her electric, and she gets a $20 cash tip, she should claim that on her taxes?
Do you not think?
No. I asked you first.
Well, you know my answer. What do you think?
I think you should stick that damn 20 in your pocket because if you're barely making it, and if you need that money, you should put it in your pocket because the government is screwing us in the ground on taxes and fees.
Yeah,
don't know.
I see what you're saying because I used to be a waiter, and I would, if I got a fat tip, I wouldn't claim that like all the time because I think of it as like this. It's like you go to, like, as a consumer, like you go to the restaurant and you pay for your food, right?
Yeah, right.
You don't have to tip shit or anything. Sorry, you don't have to tip.
First one of the day.
Sorry, I can't believe you beat Jen.
Yeah, I know,
You
right?
don't have to tip anything. Like,
Right.
I mean, it makes you a bad person, but you don't have to tip. And I feel like as a waiter or a waitress, like you going above and I mean, you're doing your job, right?
Yeah.
You're doing your job. I mean, you're getting paid $2 an hour, but that's your job, is to take care of the people that come in there. I feel like if someone sees you like going above and beyond and like make sure that their meal or their experience is like really, really good, and they want to like give you a tip, I don't want to give that to Buffalo Wild Wings or TGI Fridays, or the government. Like, I did that.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
separate discussion
Right.
there. Should tips be taxable? No.
No, I
don't
agree
think
with
so.
that.
100%
Yeah.
no.
No.
The
Okay.
tax code is jacked up, and it is wrong.
Right.
And there are millions of things wrong with it. But it is what we've decided to do together as a society. And until we change it, and we should, there's a million things that should be changed. You don't get to decide
You should
on
follow.
your own.
At the end of the day, you should always follow the law and the rules because it's going to make your life better. Because if you don't, look at
Except for the speed limits.
Look at Lori Loughlin. Not to get off the subject.
Oh, yeah.
I love, we all love her, but she broke the rules, and now her life is crap. I mean, it's gone to crap.
She's going to jail.
Taxes can be kind of the same way. I would disagree. The only thing I disagree is I don't think that we did have anything to do with the way the tax system is set up. I don't know that our politicians do anything we want them to do.
We, the people, us in this room, may not have been a part of all of that.
No, that's not true. Yeah, you did. You voted for the person who's there.
I did not vote for the person who was there.
Well, we're not gonna go there.
I did not vote for Kate Brown.
Let me ask this, you
Sorry.
guys. Let me ask you this, you guys. Who has done their taxes?
I just now got.
Oh, everybody's got them. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You got your returns yet?
It's on the way.
Oh, no.
Oh, I did, and I noticed it a little different than in years past.
Yeah, it's
Same. Yeah, mine's down.
Mine was down. I was
Way down.
Yeah,
Your refund is down?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
It is going to
I
be
know
down because they're not taking as much out. There's
Like-
less tax.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But for those who always end up paying at the end of the year because they don't give the short-term loan to the government, then they probably may not have noticed that as much as those who.
I have a
expect those
question.
returns.
I've yet to figure
I think
it
about
out.
taxes. This is sort of, I just thought about this. What if we did like an a la carte system? Has anybody ever thought of that? Like taxes a la carte? Like, hey, if you really want to support Planned Parenthood, that's a controversial one, but
Well, way to start there.
Couldn't you pick
Jen.
someone else less
Sorry.
controversial? No.
But like if you want to pay taxes towards that
Sure.
and the people who use those services, then you can pick for a percentage of your money to go to that. If you don't want to support that, You could have your money go towards like forest conservatory, like
Right.
conserving trees, whatever you pick. Like a la carte your taxes as long as you're 33%, as long as you get your, you take your pile and
That's an
distribute it.
interesting thought.
How does the IRS
Evenly.
get funded in that case?
Yeah, how does Uncle Sam get his cut?
How do we?
No. I'm talking about the people.
How do we get rid of
the
them?
human beings who work for the IRS and control the taxes? Who checks the IRS box?
Here's
Okay,
how.
so
I think we have a
base,
core that everybody has to
10%.
pay into.
Yeah.
And then we have our electives, which is let's say the core is 33% of what you're paying.
All right,
And the other 67% goes to whatever you choose to elect.
I got you.
Who was the guy that wanted? Was it that wanted to do just one tax rate for everyone? Same percent. Everybody paid 10%.
That's a common.
Yeah,
I've heard
It's
that
not
a few
bad
times.
idea. I mean,
Yeah.
No,
it's
I
like-
agree.
Yeah, this seems like a good one to me.
Would make it
feels-
easy, wouldn't it?
There's loopholes though for people who make that huge amount of money though that they can get out of paying.
Yeah, and
that.
the idea being
Amazon.
behind that is that they are incentivized to pass that money back into the economy. There's a lot of there's a lot to it. But essentially, we do have an a la carte tax system, and it's done indirectly. It's by electing the people you want in there who share your values, and it's
But they don't share my values.
but they share the values of the people who elected them.
But that's why I'm saying if it was an a la carte system, I would get to pick for the representative who I voted for who didn't get in what they believed in. I can put my money towards the things they were standing for that I stand for.
I mean, it also means we should build the wall because the man who got elected said he wanted to build a wall. So if he got voted by the whole people, let him build the wall.
True. I mean, if we're going that way, you voted for that person.
No,
Yeah, but
I
the
do
wall
not.
is unpopular.
I don't want to go down that road because
That's why it's not built.
Taxes are unpopular.
I wonder how much.
Fair,
I
but a
wonder,
necessary evil.
I wonder how much money we would have tax-wise if corporations and
If it was just a flat,
churches,
Yeah.
if they even paid taxes.
Fair.
I mean, would we
I
be
don't
having this
think-
conversation?
I could go down this road for days. I don't think churches should have to pay taxes.
See, I do.
I do.
What
and
about-
I, and, I,
100%.
and I was a pastor, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. It's a business.
It's
What
a
about-
business,
It is
dude.
absolutely a business.
100%.
What about
Yeah.
like what is it? EMF, the company that keeps buying up radio stations and making them Christian or NPR stations,
And-
non-commercial.
Oh.
They've got bank. They're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on stations in New York and all these other, and they don't have to pay taxes
The
on any of that.
nonprofits, that is an interesting dynamic. I worked for a hospital that was nonprofit, and what they did basically is all the hierarchy just made bank because they can't profit. So they would just pay out enormous bonuses, and the doctors in this made enormous salaries.
Right.
And so, but it was nonprofit.
Yeah, Educational Media Foundation, I think is what it is. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting is part of that. I think that's interesting that they don't have to, and they can have hundreds of millions to
Right.
invest into other stations that used to be commercial. And I don't know. It's just-
Nothing's nonprofit.
It's wonky.
Is anything really nonprofit?
Oh, sure.
Truly,
No, you
at the
just
end
put
of
the
day-
money either back into the economy or back
Yeah.
into your business.
Like
One of
the
two.
NFL.
You say, I'm
going
going to pay myself
nonprofit?
this much, and that's
like you
it.
take like St. Jude, who we're all on board with. We love St. Jude.
100%.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a nonprofit.
Right.
That money goes towards curing cancer. I mean, like there could hardly be a better cost.
Like
Right.
92
Yeah.
cents on the dollar.
yeah, their overhead
Yeah.
is minuscule.
Yeah, that's good.
There's just a lot of like passionate people behind it. Is there waste? I'm sure there is.
I think a lot of nonprofits could learn from how St. Jude invests
Yeah.
back into the cause more than anything else.
Oh yeah.
Which is
Well,
not
we've
the
seen
normal.
we've seen behind the curtain at St. Jude, and we know how amazing and beautiful it is. And so that's one of those charities like I donate to, and it's like, but then I hear other charities that are well deserving probably too, and I'm like, where's the money really going there?
Yeah.
A real suspicious mind on that, Tony. Robbins.
Yeah, and then I'm like, well, they're probably doing the same thing. They're trying to do good too.
I want to switch gears before we get too heavy on the tax topic because we can go down that road for you.
Oh
years.
my gosh! Yes,
And
that's-
speaking of where money's going, apparently, according to iTunes, a lot of money going into Lil Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus's pockets. They have the #1 song on the iTunes chart in both the hip hop category and country category.
It's a
Crossover,
catchy
baby.
freaking song.
It's catchy. Now, you might have saw on social media yesterday, we played it in the office, and I got to get the reaction of everybody. And Tony did a little break dance, pop and lock. It was actually quite impressive,
Yeah.
Tony.
Well, I actually blew a hip on that.
I
so.
had to rub Big Gay on him the rest of the day.
paying
But
for
other
that
than
for
that,
the
it
rest
was-
of my life.
But I guess it kind of brings up the question: what is country music? If there's this big debate about whether or not this is country, it's got Billy Ray Cyrus talks about all these visual things about what country music represents, and it's got a banjo in it. So what isn't country about it? I guess I wanted to. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I'm just questioning.
I think
every
that's a great
genre,
question.
every genre is ever evolving. Like if you look at hip hop in, the early '90s as to what it is now, completely different things. Because this happens. Sorry, let me get up on the mic here. This happens in every genre.
Sure.
That's not rock. That's not rap. That's not country. Yeah. But what it is it's all music and genres, so to speak, and just music. It's all subjective. Somebody can listen to that and be like, yeah, it's a country song. But
look what they said about Garth,
that's a hip-hop
Shania.
song.
I mean, you could go down the list of all these guys that came out when they first came out, and people were just hating on them.
Yeah,
sure.
And Garth was one of them.
Well, but we as a genre, as a format, have picked our battles with which ones we accept into the format. Vince, BB Rexa, come on over. Dan Tominski, when he did a song with Avicii, R.I.P., didn't play it.
Yeah.
So what made it different?
Who's Dan Tominski?
I'm a Man of Constant Sorrow.
Oh.
Yeah. He sang the song Wake Me Up with Avicii. I'm sure you know the song.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know who
I'm
it
sorry.
was.
No,
I do remember
not that one. That's Aloe Black. It was Hey Brother was the Avicii song.
Hey, brother.
Yeah.
I
So
think I can sing that.
so what was it?
That sounds pretty
I
good.
know the answer, and same reason that Maren Morris The Middle wasn't a country song. We didn't play that either because it felt like an EDM dance song.
Use the word felt. That's a dangerous
Right.
word.
Tim McGraw Nelly over and
I'm
over
teasing.
again.
It's
got
all
Tim
based on
McGraw.
that, really.
It
Yeah.
really is a
I
feel.
mean, what about Florida Georgia Line though? That's kind of like.
Well, we didn't play the Nelly version.
Oh, yeah.
Of Cruise.
But I'm just saying, like their like vibe and like their sound, right? It's kind of got. You can tell that it's hip hop influenced.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But his voice makes it country for sure, in my opinion.
Right.
But what is or isn't country about this song then? Question. I mean,
I think the reason that a lot of people are up in arms about it and saying that it's not country is one because, like you said, use the word feel. It feels like a hip hop song where he's talking about country stuff and
sure, which we're no stranger. We heard Nelly do that for years.
Right, exactly. Even Nelly, like country grammar, right? A little bit of bleeding,
Well, he's talking about a drive-by, but I mean, Lil Nas X is riding on his tractor with lean all in his bladder and a Wrangler on his booty. I
feel like the reason that it's not country is because his name is Lil Nas X, right?
Right.
And I'm gonna go there. I feel like it's because he's black.
Now, see, that's where I really don't agree. I don't think it's a racial thing at all. I think that
if Colt Ford sang the same song, we'd still be having the argument.
Yeah, I agree with that. Look, Maren Morris has songs on her new album that are not country, and we probably will never play them on the Bull. RSVP is a jam, but I'm not going to play it on a country station. So I don't agree that it's a racial thing.
Do you think if his name was
doesn't matter.
Harold Tyler and not Lil Nas X?
I think the moment we hear this song, the core country fans are going to go, that ain't country.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I don't feel like it's a country song per se.
And look,
I'm just talking about
you're in good
the level
company,
of
though,
acceptance.
I'm sorry, Clay, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
But I wanted to go back because you said Florida Georgia Line, and I get that. I hear that a lot about them. Not being, and so they're on one of their new songs. I think it's one of their newer songs, or I just saw it was "You Can't Say I Ain't Country."
Isn't
Have
that
you
the name
heard?
of their tour right now?
Yeah, I think so because they've heard that so much. But it's like this is. Listen to what he says right from the start.
And it sounds country already.
Well, yeah, you have the instrumentation.
Listen to this.
Okay. That's country.
The whole song is just talking about how we like some stuff that may not be considered country, but at our core of who we are, we're country.
Well, and here's another way to do that.
Big difference. But yeah, right.
It's not about who's doing it.
I think the instruments make it country.
I mean, he's talking about country things, so
it's the artist's interpretation of what.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. If he says this is my take on country music,
then it's country.
And if he's like really like riding his horse around all day, drinking lean and
By the way, don't drink lean, kids.
right.
What's drinking lean?
It's
like
cough syrup.
codeine. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Purple
making me
drink.
hipper.
Yeah.
Because I had no
I had
clue what you're
no
talking
idea.
about.
Lil Wayne had all the seizures.
That dude.
I was over here acting like I knew what he was saying.
Kids,
Like,
don't
yeah.
drink
I thought
lean.
it was like a whiskey. I don't know.
That dude could be more country than anybody in this room. But he
Styrofoam
just
cups.
did it over a trap beat, right?
Well, with the Florida Georgia
Yeah.
line did too. Keith
Yeah.
Urban's done it. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
it's not just the fact that it's a trap beat; it's the
Yeah.
entire product.
It's
And
the artist's interpretation. So if he's
Sure.
like, yeah, I
This is a
Think
country,
this country
this
song?
is what a country song is
Look,
to me.
Yeah.
Bubba Sparks. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a country boy and he sings about country things, but he's a hip hop artist.
Yeah, I think I love watching like the because there's two different communities, and I see both of them because of my crossover, right?
Sure,
Like
sure,
on,
sure.
on different
On
formats. Yeah.
He's on We 96.3,
Yeah.
our hip hop station. He's on Live 95.5, our pop station.
And so
and
you
here
have
at the Bull.
yeah, you have the same conversation happening. Like this isn't hip hop. This isn't rap. This is a moment thing. Like
a novelty.
It's a novelty, right? But is it though? I mean, it's like you said, #1, first person to ever go #1 on country and hip hop
Yeah, first
simultaneously.
ever.
That's a thing.
That is a thing. And,
That's
and
just a
here's the thing. And I had this
Yeah.
conversation with, I used to run a hip hop station back in Stockton, and I talked to the guy who replaced me down there, who wasn't playing the song. And I asked him why. I said, this is the biggest thing in the world. It's literally #1 and 2 right now on iTunes. And there's a story about that I'll share in a second. But I said, why wouldn't you play it? He's like, man, that's just no credibility to that song. It, blah, blah. I'm like, look, in a year from now, this is the song that will be like synonymous with 2019. This is our Mambo #5. This is our Macarena.
You think this song is that?
This is our
Mambo
Gangnam.
number
This is our
pretty bad, yeah.
Gangnam Style for this
You
year.
are not serious.
I am 100% serious.
I'll take
with
that back.
you. You think there's
Really?
gonna be
Yeah,
That was-
this is going to be the headline song of 2019.
This will be the
is
most
Old
successful
Town.
song of the year in overall all genres. The most successful song.
I'm
You're
with
not
you.
saying that this is the song people are going to say that is their favorite, but you're saying it's
Yeah,
going to be the song
look.
that sold the most copies, got downloaded
Yes.
the most on listeners.
Like how you-
Gangnam Style was certainly not my favorite song
Like
of whatever
just-
year that was a few years back.
That's a perfect example.
Yes.
Like even though that song is like you're not like getting in your car and turn on Gangnam Style, like we all still know exactly what song you're talking
and for
about.
a hot minute, I did.
I still think Gangnam Style is a great song.
Loved it. Yes, I still think Mambo #5 is a great song. Don't you
Dude,
dare
you-
judge me.
Mambo
No,
#5 is
It makes
great.
people dance at weddings, man.
But it's a novelty.
yeah.
And this song certainly is. I don't know if this kid's going to have a career, but he's smart. And here's why he's smart. Billboard magazine pulled the song, or Billboard charts, pulled it off of the country charts when people made an uproar about it. They said, that's not country. They pulled it off iTunes. So what did Lil Nas X do? He said, all right, well, hey, Billy Ray Cyrus, come over here real quick.
So you're
Got
not,
Billy Ray Cyrus on it. Joke's on all of us. Now he can't say it's not country because Billy Ray's on it, and he's got #1 and 2 now with the same damn song.
Now, here's
and
what-
guess what? Young Thug is doing a remix of it now, so he's going to have 3 versions out, and it'll be 1, 2, and 3 next week. Watch.
You do wonder if this like email goes out somewhere and says like to all these country artists going, "Hey, would you be willing to come in and do this?" And like Billy Ray was the only one who went, "Yep, I'll do that."
Well,
I don't got anything going on. I'll do
He had a
it.
clear schedule. It's ACM week for the rest of us.
you don't tell his achy breaky heart that.
Good for Billy Ray. He
And I
sees
love-
the moment.
I love
Barely a
Billy
country
Ray.
star anymore.
Sure, but
Yeah.
he sees the moment, and I have respect for that. I mean,
Sure, totally. There was a word you brought up earlier that probably needs to factor in too is credibility.
fair.
And
You're
that's
right.
That's a real Lil Nas X. I had to ask you who that is.
I
mean,
know us.
everybody-
Was he anybody before
No.
this song?
No.
Credibility is an important thing. If Keith Urban puts out a hip hop sounding song and calls it country, it's Keith Urban. He said it's country.
That's a good point.
He's right.
And look, we didn't, and whether we're not even talking about hip hop in this reference, but we didn't play the Lady Gaga version of "Shallow." We
Oh, yeah,
waited. We waited for country artists.
I was going to
put
ask
out.
you about that because I noticed that like it ran its course on Top 40.
Oh, let's
with-
be honest. It didn't run its course. It's still top 5 on iTunes. People
Is
are
it
still
really?
buying it every day.
Dude,
yes.
and I don't get it. For one, I mean, I don't get it with that song. Like usually, like when you hear a hit, you're like, okay, it's a hit. Like I get it, it's catchy, whatever.
Did you see the movie?
No,
Go see the movie. then
That's
you'll get
why.
it.
but
Everybody else got it when
That's
they saw
part
it,
of
right?
That's part of it.
but yeah, I noticed like as soon as like we moved it like out of power position, it started working its way back down. Then I hear it on here, but it's two different artists. So
Because look,
who did it?
If Daniel Bradbury and Parker McCollum, Parker's like an Americana artist, but Daniel Bradbury's she won The Voice a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
She's on Big Machine. She's great.
But they're both considered like country.
Yeah, and
Okay.
Lady Gaga endorsed her version of it. So
Oh,
then it
okay.
became the single.
Like got the co-sign from
credibility.
Gaga.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to
Credibility.
get the baton handoff from Gaga, look, if we were to add the Gaga song right now, people will go like, well, why'd you wait 7 months to add it? Why don't you play it back
Right.
in November? You know?
It's kind of like missed it, but
And if we would have played it then, they would have
Yeah.
said, well, why are you playing Gaga?
that
You know,
go-
it's kind of a damned if you do and damned if you don't on that one.
That goes right back to your original question, though. So when Gaga did it, it's not country. This version sounds exactly the same to me.
A little more country.
It's got more acoustic. It's got guitar and a little more than
a little more steel.
Gaga.
was that really Bradley Cooper singing
Yeah,
on that?
and the
though?
first one. And yes, he was a country artist in the movie, so there's that. But
Interesting.
Oh, I never knew that.
yeah.
I thought he was a rock
Tony
star.
was saying it was like a rock star.
Oh, no, he's
Like a
country
Chris
star.
Stofferson, isn't that who played it originally?
Yeah, I thought he was a country star.
I guess Chris was kind of a
No, they were both country stars.
Chris was a
Chris
country
Stofferson,
star.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be another splinter topic here, and this is something that Jen and I connected on earlier in the week. Is iTunes a real chart?
Seriously.
Here's what it is. iTunes is a real chart in terms of passion. If someone's going to spend their hard-earned money on music, that speaks to their passion level for the song, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So when you see a song like Lil Nas X go number 1 and 2 on iTunes, that means people in mass volumes are buying this song, which means that they love the song enough to spend $1.29 on it.
And when we say, fair on the
Yeah.
passion point, when we say it's number 1, how many downloads is that?
I don't know the
Is
answer
that
to
like
that.
a gold record?
Yeah. Oh, this thing will be a platinum record when it's all said and done. I don't know if it's there yet, but it's probably close.
Here's what I think about the iTunes. Maybe this is what you're getting at too, Jake. Like I was listening to a sports station, and these guys brought this song on, and they're like, "Yeah, we think country stations should be playing this," but it was all a joke. It was a bit, as we say in radio, and so they had obviously probably downloaded it so they could play it on the air or whatever, and so they weren't downloading it because they truly liked it. It was almost a parody.
But that's how it starts.
So is this a song that people love to listen to, or is it a song that's kind of like almost a Weird Al parody type song?
I don't know that it's Weird
The-
Al, but it's certainly novelty. But I think it's an earworm. And once you
Yeah.
get familiar with it, you find
Yeah.
yourself going, all right, that thing slaps. I like that.
I
Yeah.
guarantee you go to Ponderosa this
It
week.
does.
If you go to the Ponderosa this weekend,
They play
they're
it.
going to be line dancing
I'll
to
put
that.
money on
And
it.
Yeah,
it-
no, that's-
and it'll be fun to
Play
watch.
it at your next wedding, Jake. Watch. It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
but-
crazy.
but
And the cross cycle of people that love this song.
Yeah,
Look,
it's
I,
everybody.
I drove my girlfriend crazy with it at ACMs over the weekend, and she was to the point of yelling at me. But by the end of it, she's like, all right.
Stuck in your head.
And we heard it because it got popular from TikTok, that app. There's a bunch of memes
Yeah.
and people dancing, doing this dance to it.
All
It
right.
came on. I was listening to the We 96.3 the other day, and the kids in the back seat, that song comes on, and they start singing along. And my girlfriend looks around going, are you kidding me? I was
Dude,
like,
yeah,
see,
we
I'm
have that.
telling you.
Over there, we have that in like
You went from 0 to 100.
we put it in as a new, and then
Power.
within like now it's a power. Yeah, within a
In
week.
1
And
week.
that, and we like that's like you guys know, like you don't do that.
Never happens.
I mean,
How does it test?
we don't. It's too
oh,
early to
it's-
tell.
I mean, from what we've seen, it's like it's number 1, top 5 in like 3 or 4 different metrics that we look at.
Mm-hmm.
And those are based on
On research,
Data that we get,
consumption,
yeah.
purchase.
my main question, and Jen, you can speak to this, is that iTunes feels to me,
Mm-hmm.
sure, it's passion, but it doesn't feel real. It feels
Why?
it's not big enough.
You don't think it reflects reality?
I think it's a very small sampling
Hmm.
of the people who buy music.
I love
Yeah.
music, and I can tell you, and I want Apple Music, or now, because that's the way to listen to it on my watch. And for me to buy something it's almost a knee-jerk reaction, and it rarely happens. There's so many songs I love that I never download.
That's a good
I don't
point.
know what it is that makes me download a certain song. It's usually maybe you bring it up
Yeah.
in your podcast, and I'll be like, ooh, and you only let me hear a little bit of it when we
Yeah.
do the podcast. So I'll be like, oh, I want to hear the rest of it, and I'll just quickly download it.
Does that feel right to you, Jen? Like,
Yeah, because I did that with God's Country from Blake Shelton.
Yeah.
We were halfway through listening to it.
Oh, you mean the number 3 song on iTunes behind Lil Nas X,
Yeah.
1 and 2.
See?
I'm just saying, but I mean,
That's
he's
not my-
outselling songs like that.
That
on
wasn't
iTunes, which
that
is
wasn't my point, though. My point
Oh.
was that it was the knee-jerk reaction. Like, I liked it so much that I downloaded it in the middle of listening to it, and that's not a normal thing for me. And I also know that record labels going for the superiority of a song, they'll spend hundreds and thousands of dollars out of their budget for an artist to download the song themselves. Like it's a flawed system.
Well, yeah, but you'll see that in longevity. Here's why. And I'm not saying that they did this, but Cody Johnson debuted at #1 on iTunes. Within 2 days, he was down at number 78.
He's a Texas artist.
No,
They're
I have
their
a feeling
own
there was some manipulation with that.
thing.
Which
And
song was it?
The one that we're
On my way
playing.
to you.
Yeah.
But I
Melody,
think
which is a great
artists will
song.
try to
Great song.
jumpstart I'm sorry, labels will try to jumpstart a song sometimes by
Which I get it.
Yeah, I get it. But when you're there for 3 weeks in a row, like, okay, there's something real happening here.
Yeah.
And then
I'm not convinced.
Look,
In the
Yeah.
same,
so
That's interesting.
Oh,
go ahead.
okay, we like you're talking about not convinced on iTunes. So I mean, yeah, if you're just looking at one metric, it's going to be flawed, like you're saying. So we look at like local streams, national streams, Shazam, local, national level,
Spotify playlist ads,
Spotify,
which speaks to
YouTube.
passion.
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah. Speaking of YouTube, Lil Nas X, he uploaded the song originally to YouTube. And there's a big game, Xbox. I don't know if it's exclusively on Xbox.
Red
but
Dead Redemption.
Red Dead Redemption 2. Have you heard this? Heard about this?
I've got
That's
the clip on our stream right now. That's the video that Lil Nas X
Yeah.
uploaded.
Yeah, so
Oh, wow.
smart, because then people are like looking up tutorials for,
Red Dead.
and they're hearing this song and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
but the song has to be catchy for you to be like, oh, and it's not just some
Mm-hmm.
For you to go through.
Interesting.
It feels
It's
like
catchy, no
it's
doubt.
very interesting.
it feels like the New York Times bestseller list. That's
Sure.
That is the list of what a best-selling book is.
Or podcast charts.
I don't know where you're going
Oh,
with that,
people
but
pay people
my
on
point is-
Fiverr all the time to juice up their listens.
the
Do
New York
they?
Times bestseller
yeah.
list, if you get to on that list, that's what you sell it on.
Mm-hmm.
But that list only reflects people who buy books, which is not it's not a big enough sample of the population to determine whether or not a song has value.
No, but when it
And the
starts,
same for iTunes.
but when it starts becoming a meme, it takes on a life of its own. Think
Mhm.
about
Nobody's
how
arguing
big Hotline Bling from Drake was before it became like this meme that everyone used in every single way on the internet.
Yeah.
And that's what he's become with this song. It's everywhere. It's a TikTok dance. It's a video game thing. It's a controversy about hip hop country borderlines. I mean, there's so many ingredients that are fueling this song, and it's like the talk of the town. Everybody's talking about
It
this
is
thing.
this week.
For like 3 or 4 weeks
battle
now.
all day long. You think that this song is going to be the song of 2019?
No, I don't think it's going to be a country song that we're going to play on the Bull. I just certainly think that it is going to be the one that moves the needle the most this year.
In songs in general, not necessarily
Songs overall.
No
Overall.
format in general. Yeah, just-
Overall, 100.
Is there a song
catchy.
because I started in country and then I went to top 40
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm back in country, and when I was top 40 I actually felt like I had a better reality of what's going on in the music world
I get
because
that.
I had to know more. Well, I mean, plus I was doing music for the country station and on air for top 40, so I really knew what was going on. But I don't know what the hot songs are in top 40 right now, which would mimic like the song of the year. It's not very often that country gets like the #1 slot for a song for a year. Like I would say Friends in Low Places, whatever year that was, whatever other songs came out that year, meh, like that song was probably the song. But it's not often I think that country gets that slots. Like what is going on right now in top 40 or wherever that, I mean, is there a song yet that could be
No, this isn't
song?
this isn't the stand of test
for
of
it to
time
be-
great song that's going to live on playlists forever like Friends in Low Places. This is Achy Breaky Heart. This is a song with the funny. It's Billy Ray Cyrus. This
Right.
is a song with a gimmick and a dance that
Yeah.
people get behind, and radio's like that ain't country, which they did with Achy Breaky Heart 30 years ago. God,
Yeah.
I'm old. But at the same time, you can't deny that was the biggest song of 1990.
So
And-
like
and
Achy Breaky
Despacito,
Heart
like
was huge.
Despacito.
The biggest
Biggest
song of all time.
Song, yeah. So
In the world.
this song you think is going to be the Despacito of 2019?
Yeah.
I feel like Despacito, it's weird because we're talking about the same thing, but there's also like
Differences.
a line, because Despacito is a real song.
Sure.
That's a real song,
Yeah.
right? I'm not saying this
What?
isn't a. I'm
So
not-
is
Just like you're saying.
so is Achy Breaky Heart and Gangnam Style, but
you-
they became parodies and
you use
novelties.
use the perfect word, novelty.
Yeah.
Like right now, this is the only thing that we have from Lil Nas X. So yeah, it feels like a novelty,
Mhm.
right? Like whenever you hear what I said, real song, like you hear it in like what kind of like tying into what you were talking about earlier. about I can't remember whose name you used, Jason Aldean or whatever. If they put out a hip hop track, credibility, yeah, they have a credibility to him. He doesn't yet because this is all we have.
He's Los Del Rio. This is his Macarena.
Is it a moment record? Will he ever put anything else out? Who knows?
Yeah,
I
time
don't
will
know.
tell.
But right now,
he's the dude.
But he
lacks
on my
credibility.
tractor.
Yeah.
Is he going to be vocal event of the year at the ACMs next year? Probably not. But we can all admit it's catchy.
this year.
You never know. It might show up at the.
I'd be shocked if that happened. But
Well,
I mean, hey,
If it's the banner song of 2019, how dare they not?
look.
she has to.
You know-
they have to if it is. Right?
Yeah, somebody's gonna have to acknowledge it at some point. I mean, look, they had Khalid on the ACM awards. I mean, how far away are we from having a Lil
He was in
Nas
town.
X?
I'm convinced that's what happened.
Is Khalid and Khaled, are they two different people?
Yes.
Yes.
they're-
Isn't it like spelt the same?
No.
No, there's one has
E
an
and
E,
I.
one has an I,
Oh,
and DJ Khaled is a lot different.
Jesus.
I'm telling you, I'm out of the loop.
There's a third one. Is
Yeah.
there something it sounds like Khalid and Khalid?
I'm not sure.
There's a third one that I get them all. I can't.
Call of
I have
Duty,
to
that's
really
a
think
game.
of it to keep it straight.
I don't
just
know.
know. if
that was probably
Khaled
the
and
worst moment of
Khalid.
the ACMs. That's
Wiz
all I
Khalifa
know.
is what I'm thinking.
Oh,
It
Khalifa?
wasn't a great song. In
You
my
get all
opinion.
mixed up.
They're all.
Wiz Khalifa?
If
Oh,
you're-
I see that.
If you're,
I get that.
If you're unfamiliar with the format, how easy would it be to not know
Yeah.
which one is DJ Khaled, which one's Khalid, which one is Wiz Khalifa?
Khalifa
You know
just
what's funny
walking
is
right empty into it.
all three of those artists are very different.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Just
But if you don't know
the
it
phrasing of the name.
at all, if you heard, oh, Khalid is going to be, he does that song with Pew that I or with Charlie Puth that I love.
Oh, See You Again.
Right.
Yeah. From
Not
Fast and
Khalid.
Furious.
But if you heard that and
Wiz
you were like,
Khalifa.
you were only aware of him because of that song, you would go like, oh, I enjoyed that song with Charlie Puth.
Which was a huge song until Despacito came out.
Despacito. That's I forgot about that, but yeah.
Oh.
song was
I guess
huge.
I got to listen to Despacito. I'm way out of the loop.
You
You
know
don't know
Despacito.
Despacito?
Oh,
Oh, it's
my
it's like
gosh.
a Latin reggaeton type of track.
Oh,
I've
Lord.
probably
Every
heard of
time
that.
that
I
song
didn't
came
know what
on
it was,
in the
right?
studio, I'm like,
Louis Fonzi featuring
my own little
Bieber.
thing.
Yeah, Bieber's on that thing.
It's a wedding song. It's one of those songs that brings everyone together. That's kind of a novelty, and after it runs its course, you're probably only going to hear it at weddings, just like you hear the Macarena
Right.
or the hobble or all these wedding
Is
dances.
it-
The hobble.
Is
You
this
know,
it?
whatever it's called, wobble. Yeah, that one. Hey, no, hobble's what it did in
Hobble,
radio
baby,
when we were
hobble,
like,
baby,
nah.
hobble, baby.
Yeah,
Who sings Despacito?
Justin
Luis Fonsi.
Bieber.
No,
and
Luis Fonsi.
No.
Louis
Yeah.
Fonsi.
Is this it right
Justin
here?
Bieber's on it.
Bieber's on it.
He's featured on it.
Yeah.
Is this it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Biggest YouTube song of all
Go
time.
go to
It
the
is.
go to the chorus. Yeah, there you go.
Here we go.
Tony's
again.
Tony's got some moves.
This is what you guys are talking about.
Just wait.
Just
it gotta,
wait.
It
When you
has
get
to
to the
get
hook,
to the
you're gonna be
thing.
like, oh, I know that.
Well, I'm a minute in and there's no hook.
No, just wait. It's right there.
This isn't the Bieber
Wait, right
version.
here. Right here. Oh, that's not the Bieber
He's
version.
probably listening like a remix or something, or the one
Of
without
which there
Bieber.
are thousands.
Yes, that's very true.
That goes back to Jake's point, though. This is the one without Bieber on it, and you guys are like, "Oh no, that's not the good one."
It wasn't the hit.
We
And
want the one. The
hey,
one
look,
you want is the Bieber one.
Just like
'Cause it gives him-
this song
he
did okay until Billy Ray Cyrus came on it. Then it took it to another level.
If Despacito
Bieber.
hadn't had Bieber, it wouldn't have had credibility.
It wouldn't have been
Correct.
on top 40 ever.
Right,
I'll
and
listen
maybe
to it
that's
later.
what he was trying to do with Billy Ray's involvement. I don't know, but
Yeah, you said it so.
I think it was his justification to get him back on the country chart.
But it lends him credibility.
But yeah, I guess it does lend him some credibility.
How funny is it that Billy Ray has his next? This is his next number one hit on country
Yeah.
music.
He's had
was-
a weird
It
career.
was his last little bit
Yeah.
of credibility.
Yeah, well, hey, whatever.
I can tell you,
Dude's printing money right now. So.
Yeah, I'm old enough that I saw Billy Ray Cyrus the first time in Huntington, West Virginia, at a regatta. This was right after they got lucky. They scheduled him
got him?
right, and then Achy
Everywhere
Breaky
has
hit.
a regatta in the South.
I can remember the girl that I was dating going, "We have to go." And I swear, I thought the women in the crowd were going to run up on the stage and
Sure.
tackle the man. He was I know.
He's the OG
I know
mullet
it's
wearer.
hard for us to picture now. He was the hottest thing in music at the time. And I watched this guy come out with a mullet, tight ass blue jeans, and high top tennis shoes, the big white leather ones.
Yeah,
And women they literally went as far to say he might be the next Elvis. That's
my
what people were saying.
I
about
remember
him.
that.
It
Wow.
was bizarre.
Dude, it's funny because the music video for the Old Town Road with Billy Ray Cyrus is all old clips of him singing "Achy Breaky Heart" from the from the 90s. Dude.
And it is his credibility.
Yeah.
Is why we have Miley Cyrus now.
And look, we might
without Dad, she wouldn't be.
No way, we wouldn't know who she was.
We wouldn't have her.
Or her other siblings who all have had music hits
Oh,
too.
my daughter loves his other daughter. I don't even remember her name.
Noah. And then
God,
the brother, I forgot his name off the top of my head, was in a band called
Yeah.
Metro City, and they had a #1 song called "Shake It" back in the mid-2000s. I mean, that whole family's had success. But let's not dismiss Billy Ray as a serious artist, because "Some Gave All" is still a terrific song.
Terrific guy.
Yeah,
Billy
great guy.
Cyrus is amazing. He's had his moments of embarrassment in the media, but he's a good dude.
He's
you know
a
what?
really good man.
And maybe that's a part of this. That's part of why I'm rooting this song on.
And hey, let's give the boy credit. He has made a lot of money in his day.
Sure.
He's been on movies, TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I
He's
can't imagine that
milked it.
achy breaky money still.
yeah, that's pretty
Around.
good.
to like be proud of.
Boy, they sold a lot of records with that song, man.
And that's back when you
But
made
not no
money
more.
off
Yeah,
of it.
yeah. No, but
There's
still.
no mailbox money on that coming anymore.
Maybe Some Gave All. We still play it on Veterans Day and stuff, So, I mean.
Oh yeah, getting a big spike.
I remember
Once a year.
dancing and singing the "Achy Break Your Heart" when I was little, man.
You were like, what,
And if
2?
you go,
Yeah.
if you go listen to it now, it's not bad.
No,
it's
I
not
agree.
bad.
It's really not.
And
Makes
it's-
people
and it's
smile every
country.
time they hear it.
Yeah.
People start smiling.
Well, anyway, if you haven't heard Lil Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus, Old Town Road, it's on iTunes and streaming everywhere. And you give yourself an open mind moment where you can just spend 2.5 minutes, because that's all it is, and listen to it.
It's like you said, it's an earworm. It'll get stuck in your head.
And it's interesting.
Yeah.
In a
It's catchy.
just
I mean, it's got a good beat.
It's
in an
catchy.
observant kind of way. I'm so fascinated by
lyrics
this
to it?
story. I don't have to pull it up.
It has lyrics.
What?
Hold on, you guys
What's
stall.
catchy about it if it doesn't have lyrics?
I don't
You
know.
guys-
There were
He
words
says-
happening, but I
he
wasn't.
says, "Gonna take my horse to the Old Town Road. I'm gonna ride until I can't no more."
I'm going to take my horse to the Old Town Road. I'm going to ride till I can't no more. I'm going to take my
See, that's
repeats
not
it.
right, Grant. The
Here it is.
grammar's incorrect on that.
I got the horses in the back. Horse tack is attached. Hat is matted black. Got the boots, that's black to match. Riding on a horse, you can whip your Porsche. I been in the valley. You ain't been up off that porch.
Yeah, son.
Riding on a tractor, lean all in my bladder. Cheated on my baby. You can go and ask her. My life, my life is a movie.
Leans
Bull
the Cody.
riding and boobies. Whoa.
Well, hello.
Cowboy hat from Gucci. I didn't know they made cowboy
Is
hats.
lean
And
a,
Wrangler on my booty.
A blue collar drug?
No, it's definitely.
Wait a minute.
a,
Did you just say cowboy hat from Gucci?
Correct.
Yep.
He's
rhymes with
discredited now. This is now not
Yeah,
a
like,
country song.
That was a lot of good imagery, but like she's right.
By the way, that's all the
was-
lyrics.
Why
I
say
was
that?
on board
it had to have
until a
something that
hat
rhymed
from
with boobies.
Gucci came in.
Right? What else rhymes with it?
You can't say Stetson.
But to our point the other day when you were like, it's imagery, but it's not telling a story. I'm like, well, neither is Country Girl Shake It for me, but damned if we don't like that song.
That's a credibility
I
thing.
have a visual.
It
when I
doesn't
hear
tell a
this song.
story.
That's a credibility thing. Luke says
It's
it's
Luke.
country.
Yeah, I guess. But,
And he sounds like this. It's
cer-
country.
and that's my point. That's my overall point. Country music, as much as we want to say it's storytelling, it's imagery, it's all of these things. It has to have a sonic sound that sounds country, and I think that's where this thing falls short.
Like, yeah, I was gonna open it back up and talk about like the Uncle Cracker. Like, how did that happen? But I
Put a
feel
steel
like,
guitar on it.
yeah, I feel like we've already talked about it.
Yeah.
It's just different song.
Well, then-
same topic, different song.
It's a
different-
feel. I think it goes
yeah.
right back to the first word you used. A feel. If I feel or I felt.
Right.
Mhm.
It's just like a loose. It's
It's
uncomfortable because it's
loose.
so loose.
It's so loose.
You're like, there's no rules.
Yeah, and the
If
rules.
the
are-
artist says it's country, then you got to give that. Like, that's a lot of points.
And
Yeah.
we're in a day and age where the kids coming up, they don't see genre lines.
And Kid
It's a
Rock.
song they like or it's a song they don't. That's how they formulate it nowadays.
Which is how
Yeah,
it
but-
should be.
No, well,
I
I
kind of
mean,
agree with that.
assembling yourself into tribes is a human nature, and so like
Sure.
when you,
Categorize things.
yeah, it's comfortable for us to do.
Well, we can go on this all day.
It's like,
Clay, you wanna-
Alex, what is country music for 700?
Yeah.
Nice segue. Did you see this?
Kid Rock.
Wow.
Kid Rock. Oh, another good example.
I love your segue, by the
Right,
way.
that was a good
great.
segue. So last night on Jeopardy, a man broke the record
Yeah.
for the highest amount of money won in a single day. Does anybody know what that number is?
No, but you're talking Jen's language.
73,000?
No.
No, that okay. So the previous record in 2010 was $77,000.
Okay.
But last night this dude won $110,914
In 30 minutes.
That's like an hour of work from Tony Russell, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of
Is
where
it
money
one
I'm
day,
making.
meaning like
One
they filmed
episode.
I need
one
your
episode?
contract,
Like
apparently.
on that episode,
Wow.
he won that much money.
I feel like I've seen that. Doesn't sound that much to me. How much was it?
Right,
Does that sound like
110,914.
that much?
Yes.
Well, no, that's
Yeah.
one, you think that's
In-
one
in
episode.
one
episode.
Right now he's up to 244,000.
What was Ken Phillips from years ago when he wasn't his name Ken
Ken
Phillips?
Jennings.
Ken Jennings. What was his total amass from like the
Oh, I
streak
don't
that he
know.
went on?
Yeah, because isn't this guy on like a 74-day winning streak?
I don't know. His
No, that
winning-
was Ken Jennings.
Oh, okay.
this dude. He's a professional gambler. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
that's-
So I don't know
That
if
has
it's.
a lot
That has
to
a lot to do with
with
it.
it.
I don't know if he's gonna blow it all. But here's something that was interesting about this. He has a daughter, and she was born on October 9th, 2014. So 11/09/14, right?
Right.
And the amount of money that he won is $110,914. So
That's
11
cool.
right? 0914, which is
Unless he did that
Kind
on
of a-
purpose, I'm not that impressed by that.
I mean
He got to that number and then stopped getting right answers.
yeah, but just the
he
fact that it like
wagered-
landed
Oh,
to
that-
if he wagered.
If he wagered to get it, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting
I
fact.
bet
So
he
I want
did.
to ask everyone if overnight you had $100,000 or $100,000 in your bank account just overnight, what would you do?
I know what Jake would do.
You claim you're on your taxes.
Oh, no, I was going to say.
I would claim my taxes on that.
No,
You
Jake,
set aside the right amount.
Jake would call the bank and say, "Hey guys, I think you made an error."
Yeah.
Accurate?
Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm not
I
saying
earned it,
just like
right?
overnight. Not like you find $100,000.
Yeah, it's not a
but
bank
if it's
error in
just
my
like,
favor.
Like you
You-
have a genie.
you
or
inherited
you win
it, or-
Jeopardy. Yeah.
Okay.
If you
You win
have
Jeopardy.
Okay.
a legit
Okay, Jake, go for
$100,000.
Clay, you go first. It's your question.
I would
That's a good
I would
point.
pretend like I didn't have it.
Same.
I would keep living my life.
Boy,
Same.
that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's-
I would
And do what?
I would invest it in certain. First thing I would do is I would hire a consultant because I have bad self-control issues, and I would invest it in. I would take like half of it, invest it in whatever is
They told you.
whatever they told me to. Hook my mom up, get her all the things she needs so she doesn't have to work, and then I would
Wait, how much did you win?
$100,000.
You might need more than that.
Yeah. You
Dude.
give your mom $50,000 and she doesn't have to work anymore?
Hold on, are we talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point.
it's life-changing money, but not
No,
life-making
it's
money.
life-changing money, but not like
You
good
can
point.
make her debt free.
Yeah, I can get her.
Yeah,
I can
probably.
set
How?
her up.
Probably.
It wouldn't make me debt free.
Well, no,
Yeah.
she's not in debt. I'm just saying I would hook her up. I don't know, buy her something. I would buy her something.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I
Fair.
would just pretend like I didn't have it. I would just
Oh.
have a little nest egg.
Don't preach your girlfriend.
And then what? And
She might be
then
watching.
Just spend it as you need it.
Good point.
Like whittle away with it over like on bills. Is this the answer you wanted?
He would just live comfortably.
Yeah, I would feel like I would just having that in my account would make me not as like stressed out.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like having like a little like
Like a buffer.
yeah.
Are you living paycheck to paycheck, Clay?
Well, what do you think?
Yeah, of course he is. Hey, everyone in this room is. We're in radio.
Yeah.
Except for
Yes.
Dave Ramsey over there.
I'm married
Yeah.
to an accountant. I don't.
Oh, good
Oh,
point.
nice.
All right. Good
great.
point.
Like it's a wonderful thing.
No,
So
but
just
you
what,
could
like-
quit doing weddings and stuff if you had that extra slush fund to play with,
Yeah.
No, that stuff. I mean,
Unless you like doing that. I
He
guess.
loves them.
yeah, like $100,000 is not that much.
That's true.
It's a grand scheme. It's not, but it's a nice like if you just had like $100,000 extra in your bank account, like
Oh,
yeah.
I'd pay off my car, which is not much, and
Oh,
yeah.
and allow it to maybe live debt free.
Yeah.
Maybe consider putting part of that down on a house and buying a home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because that's probably the only thing I'm missing out of my life right now is that big down payment for a nice home.
On
Yeah.
land.
And I'd be set, on land.
Yeah.
So we're not on a dead end alley. Yeah. So that would be nice. That would be really nice.
Jen, what's your answer?
She'd buy a fourth car.
I know what she's going to do.
Or fifth,
We
I'm
already
sorry.
know.
You gonna hide it from Spencer?
Pay off her debt.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd be debt free, and then
Have a
I'd
house.
have a little bit of a down payment for a house.
Yeah. They have
Nice.
two college
So
loans,
two
right?
houses.
Two student loans.
One nest egg. Tax man.
Yeah, you gotta pay it to the tax. You gotta give it to the government.
Yeah, I give it to the government.
Yeah, so
I
you're really
know.
talking about $50K after that.
Yeah, we owe on the minivan. I guess we pay that off. And
Mhm.
then I don't know.
New RV?
Maybe.
Pay off your
Oh, yeah,
roof?
you've been talking
I
about
could use
that.
Yeah,
but
man.
then, the RV was a bad purchase, and I know that. now.
What?
It was.
You use
Why?
it every year for Oregon Jamboree, though.
The one time.
I use it for Jamboree.
It's the pimp
and then we
mobile,
go camping
though.
like 4 times if it's a good year. That's
Yeah,
5
that's
times
true.
a year that we use the thing. And it just eats up space on my property.
And money.
It costs $400 to register every couple years.
Oof.
And
Camping
maintenance.
is not cheap.
No, it's not.
To put a 30-foot motorhome in a spot costs more than your rent does.
Well, urban camping seems to be pretty inexpensive, but
Okay.
boy, that killed the buzz.
You do have a knack, Mojo.
Yes, that's kind of what I do. My bad.
Yeah.
No, I think.
What's your answer?
I sure do like your motorhome, though. I'm sad to hear
Me
you think
too.
it was a bad purchase.
But I think it was probably a bad purchase. I could rent it for so much less.
I definitely would take a vacation. Speaking of RVs.
a good
Airbnb
way
that
to do
thing, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a fun answer out
I
there.
would
'cause
go
I
to-
just came
I-
back from Vegas.
That's a
I
good
would-
answer. though.
I'd take my whole family, my kids, to
Where?
Hawaii.
There you
Yeah,
go.
That's
there
my
you
dream.
answer.
I've
There you
never
go.
been to Hawaii, and
Me
my
either.
dream is to take
You've
my
never
kids.
been to Hawaii? Oh my God, you've never been to Hawaii? You've never been to Vegas?
You haven't been to Vegas?
You never. That's probably good. He's never been to Vegas. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
With
I'm actually-
$50,000.
Yeah,
I'm
actually
hoping we win the ACM next year together because we all have to go to
I'm
Vegas
going. I'm
together.
going to save up and ask for off. I'm going to.
It's fun.
If they can get me tickets to the ACMs, I'm going to go next
Vegas
year.
is a place. I mean,
I'm going
it's
to pay
unique.
for it, but I'll go. I mean,
I-
And
You-
he
you
said
don't even-
before he
I'll-
wants to take a honey with him, but none, take your honey to Hawaii. Take us to
well,
Vegas.
actually, the lovely lady that I've been seeing wants me to go to Vegas with her in June.
Do it.
So I think I'm going to
Yes!
do
Hey,
that.
with money like that, with the money, if you won that money,
Well,
dude,
Clay
you could
gave-
buy 2 tickets for the ACM.
Clay just gave me 100,000.
That's
so
about
I
it.
got
I didn't give you 100,000.
That's an interesting question though, because that's a lot of money, but it's not.
It's a lot of money for overnight
But it's
deposit,
not enough to
but
say-
grand scheme.
Yeah.
That's an
It's
interesting
life changing, but not
Yeah.
life making.
Yeah.
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 You can't quit your job.
But
No.
here's the thing: if you invest it and put it into the right things, I feel like it could evolve into a life-changing
could
thing.
be.
And that's
Amazing.
I disagree with that. I think it would be life making because if I got to pay off all of the debt I have right now, that would take out all of the payments that I have every month on that debt, and that opens up a frick ton of extra money
That's a
for
big
me.
deal.
and that'll make contract negotiations a lot easier with her.
Well, no, it gives her more leverage because she doesn't if she has the money in the bank.
And I guess it depends on like what walk of life you're at, because
Yeah.
at some points, at some walks of life, 10 grand is life changing. 5 grand could be life changing.
Yeah.
I
No.
can tell you, I have been in that spot.
If you got a medical bill
Yeah.
hanging over your head that
Yeah,
you just
exactly.
can't,
Yeah.
can't
Oh,
get rid
yes.
of,
Yeah.
and suddenly it's not
Credit card debt.
life changing.
Like paying for a birth. As
Yeah.
soon as we got that paid off, I was like,
Yeah.
God, thank you.
The
Like,
student loans too are
bleh.
expensive.
Yeah.
The thing, I'm going to take a hybrid of your guys' answers. I wouldn't let anybody know. I would be that guy with the mask winning the
Yep.
lottery. Nobody would know I had that money for sure. And I would invest it
Especially the
smart, wisely. I would find,
Mhm.
I know of some good investment people that would point me in the right
Yeah.
direction, and I would put that money down and I would live off the interest. Because think
Yeah,
about
dude.
that. If you make some sound investments, you could really do pretty well in interest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
$100,000.
If
Dude,
you
if
you make some sound investments,
it'd
in a
have to
few
be
years,
compound. I mean, you have to
It
have
would
like
compound.
You could
12%.
never live off of it.
Oh, absolutely. In time.
Now,
In time. Let
In
it sit for
40
5 years.
years.
Let that grow, and then you can live
What
off
do you
that.
think
interest.
$100,000 if you invest it well would be?
Depends on what
Well,
you
in
5
invested
years.
in.
$3 million.
in 5 years?
Three
Yeah,
mil-
no
three-
way.
$3
Wait,
million.
did you say in 3 years?
No, in 5 years.
No.
Oh, I said in 40 years.
I guess it depends on what you invest in.
Yeah, I'm thinking 20 for you guys.
Like if you get a decent return.
Yeah, like 20.
Let's say.
Yeah.
30 for you.
What, $100,000 in 5 years at 10%
That's an extra 10 grand a year to live on.
Compound.
is like
Compounding.
Compound.
I wouldn't take it out
200,000,
immediately. I
that's
would
not
let
that
it
much.
sit for 5 or 10 years. And then, because I mean, I still have time to work. I'm going to work.
I'd
the
let
rest-
it sit for longer than that. Then you'd
Yeah, you
have
have to.
millions.
But I would use it for my retirement. You know
Yeah, why
what?
not?
Then I don't have to worry about a 401k. Pressure's off. I'll let that
You
thing
should still do your
compound.
401k.
And then, well, I know clearly.
God, I
But-
looked at my 401k the other day and it's going the wrong direction.
Well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think
I
all
think
of
you're
ours
doing
went
it
the
wrong.
wrong direction.
No, no, it's definitely going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Is it? It's
I'm not
saddening.
doing it.
Yeah, they even sent us a letter that said, "Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, now you
looking
have
at her,
this
so
much
shut up.
money. Well, now you only have this much money.
And you know the one word that you want to see at the beginning of your 401k statement is unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Regrettably.
Yeah.
I'm like, geez.
Incredibly.
It wasn't the best
Well,
year.
I can say this to you, you young folks, especially you two. Jake's getting close to 40, but stay out of debt
Mm-hmm.
and put all the money you can into your 401k.
And this has been Tony Russell
Yeah.
with investment advice.
Because I know right now it may be going the wrong direction, but by the time you're my age, it will have gone the right direction. And man, it makes life a lot easier when you hit your 50s and you go, you know what? I'm going to be okay. You know, I'm still going to work till I'm 65, but I'm going to be okay. Instead of hitting like I am and going, well, I've got to work until I'm 75.
Where were you 20 years ago? And I needed that advice.
Yes, I mean,
Well, this is good because when you're 75, that's going to make Jake 60. 60?
he'll still be having to walk over here and tell me
I
to
don't
turn
know.
the pots
That
up.
makes me 40 something. Yes.
Jake will be using a cane to walk around and go, turn it up! Turn up the commercials!
Did we get your topic? We did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay, Tony, I don't think we have yours yet.
Mine's real quick. Just go to
Okay.
987thebull.com and watch the video of Dwayne Wade.
Oh,
And let it remind
And
you
have a
that
tissue ready.
we're all a Dwayne Wade in our circles of life. Yes, he's multi-millionaire, and to see what he has done with that money,
Oof.
what the lives that he's changed. It reminded me of my dad's funeral, and for Dwayne Wade, it's the end of his career, and all these people that he's touched their lives are coming forward and going, he made a difference in my life, and it'll make you cry.
That's cool.
It will make, and so when I come to the end, when we come to the end of our life, that's the best you can ask for, is for people to come to your funeral and say, not that he was rich, not that he was good looking or she was beautiful, but that they say that was a good person, and they changed my life. And that it was so challenging to me because we all have a platform. Yeah, we're in radio. We got a pretty decent sized platform. What are we doing with it? Whatever platform God has given us in life, what are we doing with it to make a difference in the lives around us?
Paying taxes.
Yes. Well, going back to paying your taxes is one way to change people's lives. In Dwayne Wade's case, he pays his taxes and gives more of it away.
yeah.
You know?
No, we can learn a lot from that.
And that's just incredible to me. It's like I love, and I'd heard rumors of that about him, you know, or little clips of like when the Parkland shooting happened, what a difference he made in people's lives. I didn't realize that's just a small part. He's been doing this his whole career.
Well, he doesn't advertise it. He just does it.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what's cool about it. Because if there's one, I hate whenever people do like a, look at me, here you go, sir. You know, it's
Yeah.
like just do it because that's what you want to do.
We
Like,
didn't even
do it
know.
because that's what you exactly.
Yeah, we
exactly.
didn't know. He didn't. You know, what is it? There's that, you know, that don't let you, when you're giving to charity, you know, don't let anybody know about it. That they say that's
Well,
the truth.
Well.
You
Hold
know.
on. Let's not.
Yeah.
That's awesome what Dwayne Wade is doing. That's really
Yeah.
cool, and that's a high tier. But let's not discount people who give to look good.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
True.
The net
Yeah.
result is
Money
somebody-
got put towards
money
something
got
good.
put something towards something good, and
Yeah.
other people were inspired.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
there's- It,
I was
shouldn't be discounted.
I
No,
was
but
just going
it
back
just
to my
feels
preach. I was just going back to my
fake.
preaching
It does
roots.
feel.
there's a I think it's in the Bible where it says, you know, when you're giving, don't let your left or your right hand know what your left hand is doing. In other words, do what the teaching says. If you're going to give, do it for the right reasons.
Right.
Find it, but I'm all with you. I don't care why people are giving. If
Yeah.
they're giving, it's a good thing.
No, I do care,
Yeah.
and it should
Yeah.
factor in to your point.
Right.
Ray.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if you find out through back channels that somebody's doing awesome work, that's great. Like Keanu Reeves has a big history of doing that. Like he'll just give, and there's no cameras pointed at him or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But for the people who give and stand in front of a big check and take a bunch of pictures with it,
They still gave.
that's still gave. It's still giving. It's you give them a little credit.
No,
Not as much.
no,
yeah.
I'm not so much talking about like that because it like when you have people like giving like certain organizations and there's events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can't say like, oh, we're not taking any pictures at this event because we don't want it to seem like we're gloating.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like it's you know you do it on your
yeah,
it,
that's
like
the only
self-serving. It's like okay,
On your YouTube channel,
Yeah.
giving burgers to homeless people. But no, but
Didn't we do that?
yeah,
that's
Yeah, we
not
did
what I'm
it.
talking about.
okay, we did that. We did that. We went out and gave, and it made us look good.
Mm-hmm.
People still got
100
fed.
people got burgers.
The end
Yeah.
result
People-
was still burgers.
Yeah, we didn't hurt anything.
He didn't hurt anything. It
I
just
think that's the
feels
bigger
weird.
point, and I think that's the point Tony was trying to make too there, and did a great job. I'm just going to say it in a different way. Fame, fortune, success, all great things that can really change a person's life. But what really matters at the end of it all, when your time is up, is how you impacted others. And what Dwayne
100%.
Wade has done has made this world a better place.
You know, that old cliche, to whom much is given, much is expected. But I don't think he did it because it was expected. I just think I look at that man and I go, "There's a good man. There's a good heart. That's like a good heart." And I just love to see that. Like it's like, and I know he's not perfect, but it's like there's a pureness about that. Like just to love people that much that you just go for no reason, go out of your way to give, to buy someone a church or to his mama's church, or to go to this kid, to put this kid's sister through college. I have a guy that I know that went to, he's very wealthy, and he went to visit his kid. This kind of makes me emotional. He went to see his kid in college, and they're all sitting around, and they're going, and I'll just make up the name. He goes, "Yeah, Jimmy's not going to be able to come back to school next semester." And my friend says, "Well, why not?" He said, "Well, his dad lost his job. You're not going to be able to afford it." And my friend said, "Oh yeah, you're coming back to school," and paid his tuition.
Wow,
that's dope.
I'm like, there's just that kind of heart. It's just like that's what I hope I would be if I had.
That's why I want to be out of debt, because I can't, in my heart of hearts, give as much as I want,
and it's the best feeling in the
until
world.
my own family's taken care of.
Right.
Like I want to be out of debt so that I have that extra money every month to bless other people.
Yeah.
It's the best, the feeling in the world to know that you can help people.
And let's be honest, we all found out about this because of a beer commercial. So there's that.
I don't even know what beer. What beer?
I didn't even notice it was a
Oh,
beer
we
commercial.
don't need to bring that up, but it's a beer commercial.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, the Dwayne Wade thing is a beer commercial?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, if it ain't Coors Light, I ain't watching
I
it
just said
again.
the funny thing is
It
we
better
found
be
it through an
Coors
ad
Light.
campaign.
But this speaks my point. What
I agree with you, Tony.
What beer brand?
Budweiser.
Budweiser paid for that. Budweiser now looks good.
Yep.
Anybody got a problem with that?
They're emotionally connected. I just,
Well, kind of, because they're piggybacking off of his.
one could say it's a little exploitive.
Yeah.
Well, but
But my point is,
their motive is cash. His motive was to help.
yeah.
But how do you feel after watching that video? Like, you want to be like Dwayne Wade? That's benefit. That's net benefit.
That's what I walked
no,
away going.
good
I
point.
was challenged because I thought, I'm on the radio every day. We talk to about 500,000 people a week. What am I doing with that? What good am I doing in my community? What am I using my platform to help other people for? Because I may not have as much money as Dwayne Wade, but I have this platform where people know my name, and I can walk into places and possibly say, "Hey, you know what? Let's raise some money for this organization." We do it for St. Jude every year, and there's nothing that makes us more proud of everything we do.
Yeah.
That one time a year where we say, "Hey, here's St. Jude. Here's a few $100,000."
Yeah, on Saturday, I was at the Oregon Hunters Association, the Tualatin Valley chapter. They asked me to come be like their guest of honor and speak at their event and like help out with their auction to raise money for their chapter and for like youth hunting stuff.
Right.
And I never, like at one point when I was standing on the stage, I like never in my life thought that somebody would like ask me to come be a part of their event to help them raise money. Like they made me put on duck gear.
Go Ducks.
I
Good thing it
hated
ain't
it.
duck
I
hunting
hated
season.
every second of it because I'm such a big OSU fan. But like, how in the heck did I get to the point where like our platform put me in a place that like just me wearing duck gear got money for these kids to do like their youth hunting stuff? I'm like, what even the heck? It was,
For
like
the record, they invited me to be their celebrity skeet, but I respectfully declined because I
And
didn't like it.
I was outside parking cars for people. Thank you for that. That's what they asked me to do. I was the valet.
Well,
Hey, you look good in a valet suit,
Yeah,
Tony.
you didn't even recognize him when you gave your keys.
Well,
thanks for taking
How
one
long
for the
do you think you
team.
got to that 500,000 listener thing?
they asked
You
me
talked to a
not,
lot of people out there.
They asked
But
me not
it's
to tell people my name.
Like we have such a
Yeah.
we have such a platform to do
right.
things, and it just when I did stuff like on Saturday and like the St. Jude, like I'm just reminded of that what we're doing with what we got is important.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter. So there are a lot of people who are watching this right now or listening to it, and they're like, "Well, I'm not on the radio, or I'm not
Doesn't matter.
I'm not a
Doesn't matter.
celebrity." Everybody has their thing. Everybody has their circle of influence.
If you have
To you,
even
yeah.
one follower on social media, you have a platform.
Yeah.
Good point. Well, I think that's a nice way to tie it up. You kind of left us with a message, Jen. I love it.
Actually, it was my message.
Oh, yeah.
You don't
That's
even give me
true.
It
credit
sounded
for
better
that.
for me.
Tony.
I can't get credit for anything around this place.
I'm just kidding.
That was a great topic, Jen.
Yeah.
I'm so
Tony,
glad you
thank
brought
for
up that
bringing-
Dwayne Wade video.
Whatever. He didn't know it existed until I put it on a blog. You referenced my blog. Let's be honest.
That's my charity to you.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Can I borrow $20?
Yes, you can.
All right, look at that. What a nice guy. I don't need it. I'm
Jake?
just kidding. I went to Vegas this week. It's been a rough
Oh,
week.
yeah, it's going to be 12 because the government's getting the other 8.
Hey, by the way, shout out to Cindy who's watching this on Facebook, a friend from back in California who you will meet at Country Fest, and I cannot wait for you to meet. She's got an
Ooh.
incredible story, and I want you to
What
meet
up,
her.
Sydney?
So,
Did you smolder that?
Cindy. Did you just smolder the... Hold on, where's your camera?
Do it. Hit it.
Where's his camera? Oh, there it is.
Say hi.
Oh, right here.
Cindy?
Cindy.
Cindy?
Cindy.
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 Okay,
C-I-N-D-Y?
Yeah.
What's up, Cindy?
Claybird, everybody.
I'm the creepy one, I thought.
I think that's how we wrap this up this week. We do it every Wednesday at 10:30. Danny hopefully will be back. Feel better, buddy. Thank you for watching and listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.